Thelma Marie Allemeyer Greife was born on the 20th day of January 1925. I was the first child of Walter and Olga Allemeyer. My parents had been married 2 years before I came along. My father, a farmer, was 27 years, and mother, a housewife, 25 years. They had decided mother was to name all the boy babies and dad all the girl babies. So I will have to give Dad credit for the name in which I was given. My father, Walter Allemeyer, was the oldest son from a family of 13 children, made up of 7 boys and 6 girls. My father's parents came from Germany when they were small children. Dad's father settled on a farm in Missouri on the Burbus River in Franklin County. My father now lives on the farm of 520 acres of land. A great portion of this is woodland. A creek and river flows through the farm, making it good farming land. My father's parents believed that the oldest son should take over the farm and be the spokesman for the family after they had departed. My father is very proud of his home place and takes a lot of pride in the work he puts in on the land. We have tried to persuade Dad that the farm is too large for him to take care of, but he would never be happy any other place. The farm has become a part of him because he has put so much of himself into the land, buildings, and so forth. My mother, Olga Fogerson, was the youngest from a family of 3 children made up of 2 older brothers. My mother's parents were also of German descent. Mother's folks were from a poor type home and had to work very hard just to survive from year to year. They were always jolly and willing to help their friends and neighbors out of difficulties. Mother has worked very hard on the farm with Dad. Since Dad always employed a lot of hired help, Mother had a lot of cooking, washing, canning, and cleaning to do. The other siblings in my family consisted of 3 younger brothers. Walter Jr. was born when I was 2 years old. Walter Jr. and I grew up to be close companions and understanding one another. When I was 7 years old, Milford, another brother, came along. At 11, my youngest brother, Louis, was born. I got along very well with my brothers. In fact, they were too good to me at times. I'm afraid if I had a sister that was such a pest as I could be, I would have disowned her. Having 3 brothers and being the only girl, I was a big tomboy. I would much rather help Dad take care of the farm animals and working in the field than helping Mother with the housework. I remember Dad was working away in the harvest during the summer, and Walter Jr. and I were to feed the livestock. I thought it such a responsibility to do the feeding, and I wanted to do it myself without Walter Jr. helping. So in order that I might accomplish this, I locked him up in the storage room so I could feed all the stock by myself. Mother let him out before I could accomplish this mission. Well, I never liked to help Mother with the housework. I don't know. If it was because Mother had so much work, or if it was the fact that I was surrounded by my brothers and the hired help. This type of work was always different and more exciting than helping Mother. As I look back now, poor Mother never did have a little girl. Mother wanted to be good to me and never complained, but I think she should have made me learn to do some of this work. Now, since I'm married, I have 4 boys of my own. You know how much help I get. I like to do the housework, but I am very slow getting it accomplished. I'm just not very efficient. My family attended the Methodist Church. My father grew up as Lutheran and mother a Methodist. Since the Methodist Church was the closest, our family joined and attended this church. I remember how we enjoyed visiting our grandparents' home. Dad never cared about visiting Mother's relatives, and my brothers and I always preferred visiting Mother's folks. It was a much friendlier atmosphere at my grandmother Fogerson. My grandmother Olimar was always scolding us for something we would do wrong. When I was in high school, she used to scold me for not wearing cotton stockings during the winter months. I just couldn't wear cotton stockings. Everyone went bare-legged or wore just socks. When my grandmother would come to visit, I would run and put on cotton stockings while she was there and take them off after she had gone home. I thought enough of my grandmother and her judgment to please her, yet I just couldn't wear the stockings to school. I got my elementary education from one-room school. I attended this school for 8 years without missing a day of school. I went to school with whooping cough, measles, chickenpox, and colds. I had to walk a mile to my school. My father didn't take me very often, and I walked to school in the rain and very cold weather. When I reminded him that other fathers took their children in bad weather or picked them up during bad weathers, he would answer by saying, "Walking never hurt anyone." Well, I guess it didn't hurt me. When I finished 8th grade, there was some question too if I should go to high school. Dad said he couldn't afford it and didn't think it necessary. Mother felt it very important for me to go to high school. So Mother saved so I could get started. Both grandparents, Olimar and Fogerson, helped toward me getting started. Going into high school was probably the biggest social adjustment that I ever had to make. For 8 years I'd gone to a one-room school. Now I was going to a school with many rooms and many more students. It was like turning a little child out on the streets of New York City. They found me everywhere, even in the boys' restrooms. I did get adjusted the first year and completed my high school education. I never participated in many of the school activities. Dad usually objected, and Mother would encourage me to as many of the activities as I could possibly participate. I was in the Girls' Glee Club and occasionally attended a class party. If I attended any of these activities, I stayed at a friend's house in town. Dad never had time to take me, and Mother tried to persuade Dad that it would be good for me to attend a few of the activities. By the time I was a senior, Dad was convinced that he could take me to a few activities. That year we attended the senior play, which my father really enjoyed so much that every year he tries to manage to go. While I was in high school, I prepared myself to do secretarial work. I had decided that I would do civil service work for the government. After I graduated, the county superintendent called on me, asking if I would teach my home school, which I had attended for 8 years. My first reaction was, I can't teach. I don't have enough education to teach. Since this was during World War II, I could get an emergency certificate if I could pass the teacher's examinations. Everything worked out, so I started teaching with a big school of 8 pupils. 2 of these pupils were my own brothers. Some of the students were schoolmates I had gone to school with just 4 years ago. I started teaching at $65 a month. My father was secretary of the school board and wrote my checks. He gave me a check every other month so I would save enough to attend summer school. I attended college at Warrensburg for the summer and got 17 hours of credit. The following year, Dad gave me my checks each month so I would learn to save for myself. I never saved enough to attend school the next summer. I taught school for 3 more years and got married. I never planned to teach after I was married. I was married a year and a half and had my first baby, a boy named Wayne. 2 years later, another little boy came along named Billy. And 13 months later, I had Dale. After the 3 boys were all in school, I decided I would like to work. So I decided to go back to teaching. One reason I decided to teach was I could spend the summers with the boys. Since I've started back to school, I've been home only 2 summers. My 16-year-old boy will soon be ready for college, and I'm still going to college. The 3 boys did not complete my family. A year and a half ago, I had my 4th boy named Steve. Their ages were now ranging from 17, 15, 14, and a year and a half. Although I would very much like to spend more time at home with my baby, I feel it very important for me to teach and help our older boys get started toward a college education. Throughout my childhood, my parents have had a definite influence on my life. Mother giving me encouragement and still finding ways to help make our job easier for me. My father has tried in his way to show the importance of learning to stand firm on the ideas you believe in. He tried to teach me the importance of saving and managing money intelligently, which I never have been able to accomplish. I respect and love both of my parents, and I hope I can reflect the same kind of feeling from my own children.